People didn't get into real estate because they just love selling homes. Some people do. One of the reasons I got into this game is because I was fucking tired of being in corporate America, having them sell me on some bullshit vision that there's safety and security in the job that they were given. I wanted to have the freedom to go out and work the hours I wanted with the people I wanted, doing the thing that I wanted to do with no real restrictions. So when we slow this game down, before we even get into the business aspect out of it, you have to be able to lead your life before you can lead your clients. Welcome back to the Be the Standard podcast, where we're all about transforming real estate agents and lenders to become $300,000 a year or more producers. In this episode, we're going to talk about the leadership skills that mortgage lenders and real estate agents need to have in order to scale and grow their business significantly. Like the overlap between the two of you and the overlap between real estate agents and lenders and entrepreneurs, well, these are just like general leadership skills that when you apply them to your business practices, what you will find is that it becomes one of the main pillars that is required in order for you to scale and to build. Many people can like stumble their way into making 150, even 200K a year. It's not hard. It really isn't. And it may sound hard if you've never done it before. But when you do it for the first time, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, I had no fucking clue what I was doing. In my first year of real estate, I made $331,000 in gross commissions. And as I look back on those 31 transactions that I had, like there was moments where I was just like fucking kind of winging it. I was leaning into my managing broker. I was leaning into mentors. I was asking them questions, but the reality is I kind of like fumbled my way through it a little bit. Did I provide the best level of service? No, I did not. Did I fuck up a lot? Yes, I did. Did my clients all have great experiences? No. Some of them had elite experiences, some of them had okay experiences, and some of them just had like, either way. It doesn't mean that it wasn't good, but it wasn't to the standard that I wanted it to be. And so as I wrapped up my first year of real estate, I started to ask myself some of the harder questions. Some of the questions that you need to ask yourself is if you really want to grow your business. For many real estate agents and lenders, the idea of building a business that makes this amount of money, like you look at it and you're like, I don't even know how I would do that. And it's because, well, one, like you have to get to this place of being able to have a strategic vision. Any good leader has a vision of where they're gonna go. They have intentionality, they have a plan, they have a roadmap, they have an idea of what they want the outcome to be. And these, you can call them SMART goals, you can call them impossible games, which we call here at the Standard, but they have to be something that is going to be compelling for you. And it can't just be that you want to make a certain amount of money, like that can be a motivator, and money can be a thing, but it can't be the thing, because at some point you will come to realize that the money actually doesn't motivate you anymore. It has to be something that's bigger than that. And so before you even get into this place of having this vision for your business, I want you to pause for a moment. I want you to ask yourself, what is the vision that you have for the life that you want? Have you really like spent any time? Now, you come into my world, one of the first things that we're gonna do is we're gonna get really clear on what you want your business to look like over the next 90 to 100 days. When you run through the Standard Method program, which is our small group coaching program that lasts 100 days, you're gonna have a clear vision of where you're at and where you wanna go, which is very powerful and is going to become critical for those of you that choose to come in and step into this coaching program with me. But outside of that, we also have to have a vision for what we want for our life. Because what we do in our body and what we do with our connection with ourselves and what happens in our marriage is all going to impact our business. And for many people, their why is why they do the business. People didn't get into real estate because they just love selling homes. Some people do, but there's this other piece of them of what they saw was possible. One of the reasons I got into this game is because I was fucking tired of being in corporate America, having them sell me on some bullshit vision that there's safety and security in the job that they were giving me. I wanted to have the freedom to go out and work the hours I wanted with the people I wanted, doing the thing that I wanted to do with no real restrictions. Now, freedom in the beginning of this game, well, it's not really existent because you're working so much to just try to build the momentum that it feels at times almost like a prison. But this is part of the game. And the reason you'll be able to stay in this pain pocket for 2, maybe 3 years is because your vision is compelling enough that it's gonna pull you forward. So when we slow this game down, before we even get into the business aspect out of it, you have to be able to lead your life before you can lead your clients. And in order to lead yourself, you have to know what you want. If I were to ask you, what do you want your marriage to look like in a year from today? Most people would not have a fucking clue on how to answer that question. And the moment that I tied that to their production, and I was like, hey, listen, if you don't have a clear vision for your marriage, it's going to impact the amount of money that you can make and how you can grow your business. They wouldn't be able to see the connection piece here. But the link between these two is critical. I've experienced it firsthand, and I've watched as clients have experienced it too. The moment that your marriage starts to struggle, the moment that you're disconnected from your wife, the moment that you don't feel like you're showing up as the dad that you want to show up as, your ability to produce and to make money and to find new clients and get things under contract and to actually stack money in your bank account goes down. It plummets. Why does this happen? Because you're focusing so much energy on the people that you love, just like a commitment to trying to rebuild this and get it back to a place that's working. Like when Lizzie, my wife, and I were fighting, I watched as like my ability to show up on listing consultations or buyer's consultations, it became like this energy shift in me, and I was repelling clients instead of attracting them because they could feel just like what was brought into the meeting. Sometimes I was disconnected. Sometimes they would say something, but I was too busy living in the fight that me and my wife had just had. And it wasn't until Lizzie and I were connected that my business really went from 6 figures to 7 figures. It was this connection piece because I knew the safety and security at home was in alignment because we had a vision for what we wanted. And so you have to get clear on what it is that you want in your marriage. You also have to get clear on what you want your body to look like. I get up every day at 3:15. And before you say, well, Sergio, I'm not a morning person, I'm never going to do that. The reason I get up at 3:15 is so that I can go work out and invest in me. And then also so that my wife can do the exact same thing before our kids wake up. That's important because I want to have a healthy body and I want to be in good shape and I want to look good naked and I want to feel confident in the way I look. And I know that this type of physique commands respect because you can't just be given this, you have to earn it. I've gotten more transactions from being in good shape because people look at me and they're like, if you can take care of you, I almost guarantee you'll be able to take care of us. I got more transactions from the CrossFit gym that I coached at or just being at the gym because people saw my work ethic. And so having a clear vision of what you want your body to look like is important. You don't have to be jacked. You don't have to get on testosterone. You don't have to go take supplements. You don't have to do any of that. But you have to be confident in the way that you look and the way that you feel in your own skin because it's going to impact the way that you show up in your marriage. It's going to impact the way that you show up in your business. If you are overweight, you're not going to look at yourself confidently, which means your clients aren't going to look at you feeling like they have certainty and safety in you. And I know, like, I'm not trying to go full Andy Elliott on you if you know who that is, but there's some truth to that. Like when you take care of yourself, your clients know that you can take care of them. So you have to have a clear vision, like a strategic vision for your body. And the last piece of this before we even jump into business, if you have to have a clear vision on who you want to become, I'd have you consider for a moment that the amount of money that you make right now is based on the man or the woman that you are today, the habits that you have, the actions that you take. If we start to replace the current habits that you have that are no longer serving you and start to introduce new things like meditation and journaling and working out and like doing some personal development or learning about business every single day, and we start to change these habits, well then suddenly these habits now become just part of who you are. They become your new identity, which means if you can get clear on who you want to become and ask yourself the question, who would I have to become in order to be a $300,000 a year producer or a $500,000 a year producer or a 7-figure a year producer? If you were to take a step back and ask, who would I have to become in order to pull that shit off? Well, then we can reverse engineer this with creating the habits that we need in order to create the identities we must achieve. These 3 pillars of body, relationship with yourself, and your marriage and your kids is going to be critical because what opens up next is your business. Your business is going to support your life. My biggest why right now is I want to give my family a life that makes them feel safety, security, and they are able to have as many opportunities as they want. So on those days where I feel like not shooting content or prospecting, or on those days where I feel like not recording a podcast or not doing the work, I'm reminded of the life that I'm trying to build for the people that I love. I want to be able to give back without having to worry about writing a check. I want to be able to take my parents on vacation and like give them a gift that they gave me as a kid. I want to be able to do all of these things because in doing that, I've created something that means something to me. And my life, the one that I want, probably is going to look very different than the one that you want. Doesn't mean there's not going to be similarities, but it has to be something that compels a vision inside of you that pulls you from like a soul fucking level. Because when it's time to build your business plan and you're starting to line up like how many buyers you're going to work with, how many listings you're going to take, how much money you're going to make, we can then reverse engineer the work that's going to be required in order to do that. And when you look at the work, you might become overwhelmed with it. There's going to be days where you wake up and you're like, fuck this, I'm not doing any of it. And you're going to have to sit in a moment. You can either choose to not do anything. Maybe you need a day off. I completely get that. But you're also going to have to ask yourself, if the guy that has the life that I want would do the work, what do I need to do now? So then this becomes a game of like, you have to be able to have this pull you and inspire you and create discipline in you. Because you're going to get motivated from time to time. You'll get off our calls together. You'll be all motivated and hyped up to go do big shit. But then the reality hits of the actual work, and what you're faced with is like, why? Why are you doing this? And so having a strategic vision for your personal life, your body, your relationships, your connection to God, your connection to your kids and to your wife is going to drive this vision for your business of what you want. And tying it back to the why you want, well, now you have a plan to execute the work. So for most agents, this is one of the skill sets they have to have. The second principle is this principle of putting your clients first. I watch too many real estate agents and lenders try to get the quick buck. They try to force their clients into buying a home or doing something before they're ready. They make a case of saying, oh, marry the house, date the rate. Putting people in a position of not having all the information they need and trying to sell them on a false bag of goods. Or using temporary buy downs without explaining the potential repercussions of this if interest rates don't go down. Here's the reality of this game. You have to be able to put your clients first. And the only way for you to do that is to make sure that you have an abundance of leads in your pipeline, that you've filled your bank account and you're not desperate. And if you're doing both of those, right, the next piece is like, are you doing the work? Or most agents and most lenders get desperate for a sale when they're not actually doing the work. Most of you aren't going to get immediate results in 90 days. But what you will see is the work that you do will compound in days, 60 through days 365. You will watch as your business just goes straight through the fucking roof. But this is all because you're putting your clients first. You don't see them as commission checks. You see them as people. You don't see them as buying homes. You see them as creating memories. And if you're able to put yourself in this place, well, then all you're left with is a North Star. And if your North Star is clients first, then anytime you're left with a decision that is going to jeopardize that, you follow your North Star and you execute on that. So instead of going for the short dollar and the short buck and trying to make quick money, you play this long game of serving your clients at the highest level, meeting them where they're at and making sure that they are clear on what they want. This game of clients first will build a business that is not only just scalable to 7 figures, but it also has some depth to it. These will become your raving fans. This will become your biggest word of mouth marketing team. You won't even have to pick up the phone anymore because people will be calling you. And all you'll have to do is check in with the clients that you've already served, and will have built all of this momentum, and you will see as your pipeline just fills with potential buyer leads, seller leads, and future investors. But all of this is going to be predicated on, can you put your clients' needs above yours? And that's hard in the beginning when you're not making a lot of money, which is why it's so critical that as you start to bring in cash into your business, that you have money put to the side so that you can have this confidence and certainty. You have to have money in your bank accounts in the beginning. So slow your roll on your spending. Don't go out and buy the Audi before you can afford it. Don't go on the vacation before you can afford it. Delay the gratification and have a bank account that is your backup, that is your insurance plan, so that you never have to sell out of desperation. And when you can not sell out of desperation or out of need and you're putting your clients first, what you will find is that your clients will feel it. They'll be attracted to you and you will bond with them, and they will become the best resource for new business. Now, the third principle, you have to be good at being an effective communicator. You have to. This is one of the skills that you have to master. Speaking, delivering a message, communicating something to somebody else to get them to do something is important. It's the only way that you're going to be able to win this game of sales. It's not only just the information, it's the delivery of the information, and then it's the timing of the delivery. Your clients are going to be so fucking overwhelmed when it comes time to buy a home. Think about this for a moment. Not only are they talking to you about the home process, but they're talking to the lender, potentially the underwriter, potentially the title company, probably the inspector. They're probably talking for homeowners insurance. Oh, and by the way, they probably have their old fucking parents just in their ears, just chirping. Or maybe their friends who bought a house 5 years ago being like, well, I wouldn't have done that. They have all of these voices going on in their minds. And so your ability to cut through the noise and be able to deliver the right information at the right time to help them get to the next step is critical. There's this piece that if you can master this one framework, it will serve you forever. It is clarity, control, and confidence. If you can give clarity to your clients, meaning they have visibility into the process from A to Z, and they know what's coming up and they feel like they have the full court view of what's going on, that will give them a lot of comfort. And then if you can lead them to this control piece where you control the process, but you let them know that they are in control of the decisions, that your responsibility in controlling the process is to give them all of the information that they need to make an educated decision based on what they want. And when they have the clarity and they have the control, what they're left with is this level of confidence that when they're signing a contract or they're signing at closing or they're making an agreement to work with you, that they have this level of comfort in themselves, that they feel like they're confident in what they're doing because you've created the conditions for them to do that. But all of this is predicated on your ability to deliver a message with confidence, certainty, and knowing the intent behind what you're trying to get them to do. So for most of you agents and brokers out there, these three things, if you can master this, what's going to open up for you is bigger problems. But until you can actually get these three things mastered, we can't even move on to some of these bigger principles. Now, there's some underlying foundational pillars that we obviously cover in coaching to make sure that the way that you show up to deliver these principles and the way that you show up to embody these principles is present. But if you can just for a moment pause and ask yourself, how am I showing up with these three principles? Do I have a strategic vision and plan for my business and my life? How am I doing in communicating a message and delivering information at the right time? And then last, are you putting your clients first? Give yourself an assessment on this. And if you're struggling with this, I want you to understand you're not the only one who's struggling in this game. For many agents, this is why they get stuck at the 150K mark. In order to go from 150K to 300K, this transformation is not just a transformation of you understanding these skills. This is you becoming these skills. This is you making this part of your new identity. And when you can start to make and act and operate like this, and this is just who you are and you're in full alignment, what you will see is your business not only just fucking takes off, but it gets to a spot where you're solving bigger problems. And the bigger problems we get to solve is how do we delegate? Who do we hire? How do we grow and scale this without burning our lives down? You can sell $300,000 a year, make $300,000 a year in commissions all by yourself and with a transaction manager. You could probably do it all by yourself. But the reality is you have to master these before you could ever hire somebody else to replace you on some of these. So listen, I don't know where you're at in your business. I don't know. But you can subscribe to this and continue to listen to the podcast or go find me on Instagram at sergio.nazaro, where I'm putting out content very regularly on not only how to transform and become a $300,000 a year producer, but also make sure that you're doing it in a way that allows you to have a life that you're proud of. You can do that. You can subscribe here. Or if you're interested, I want you to go to becomethestandard.live and I want you to watch a video. If you feel like this is the time for you to move forward into growing your business and expanding your business, there's no guarantee that you and I are a good fit. But here's what I will tell you. I can guarantee you that if you do what I tell you to do over the next 90 days in our small group coaching, your business will never look the same. I know this to be true because I did it. The work you do today, the decision that you make today will impact your business for the next 90 days. But that's up to you. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. And until next time, right? Send me the questions that you have. Actually, pause. I want you to send me any questions that you have. You can send it to my email at sergio@becomethestandard.live. You can hit me up on Instagram at sergio.nazaro, or you can drop your comments below here on YouTube or whatever streaming platform you're watching this on. All right, y'all. Take care. Until next time, peace.